Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really going to dig into a powerful and frankly essential topic: gender-based violence.
hmm
Specifically, how it plays out in East African traditional societies. We're drawing heavily on this remarkable new book, Fight Back.
That's right. Fight Back. Unraveling Gender-Based Violence in East African Traditional Societies by Blaise Rukumbuzi. It's published by DADYMINDS Publishers Insider.
Yeah, and our goal here, our mission for you, is to really unpack the complexities. We want to pull out the most crucial insights from the book, look at the pathways to change it suggests.
Had a shortcut, right?
Exactly. A shortcut to getting properly informed on such a critical issue, moving past just the headlines.
And what I find so compelling about this book is its nuance.
Yeah.
It's not just saying what GBV is.
Right.
It really digs into the why, the cultural context, the history behind it. Plus, it gives a platform, a voice, to survivors and activists, people fighting for change. It really invites you, the listener, to engage deeply with something that honestly demands our attention. Okay, so let's start there. Ground zero. What exactly are we talking about when we say gender-based violence, GBV? And how widespread is it, according to the book, in these societies?
So GBV, as the book lays it out, it's broader than just physical violence. It's really any harmful act, or even the threat of one, that happens because of someone's gender.
Okay, any harmful act.
Yeah, and the key point is it disproportionately hits women and girls. It covers a whole spectrum: physical, sexual, psychological abuse, even economic control.
Wow. And the prevalence?
It's sobering. The book cites a UN Population Fund study, UNFPA. It suggests around 45% of women in East Africa have experienced some form of GBV. 45%.
That's almost half.
It is. And what's really chilling, the book emphasizes this strongly, is that these are just the reported cases. The actual number is likely much, much higher, hidden.
Because of silence, societal pressures.
Exactly. Shame, fear, norms that discourage speaking out. That's a staggering reality. Can you walk us through some of the main forms this violence takes? The ones Rukumbuzi really highlights. Are there any that might be less sort of commonly understood?
Sure. He details several key forms. First, there's domestic violence, probably the most commonly recognized, sadly. Physical, emotional, sexual, economic abuse within a relationship.
Yeah.
Often a cycle.
You know.
Power and control, it just grinds people down.
Right, that slow erosion.
Precisely. Then there's sexual violence. This includes non-consensual acts, rape, harassment, forced prostitution. The book points out how perpetrators often exploit existing power imbalances. And then there's something maybe less discussed globally but critical in certain contexts. Female genital mutilation cutting, FGMC. It's deeply entrenched in some communities. Non-medical removal of genitalia, often rooted in cultural ideas about purity controlling female sexuality. The consequences, physical and psychological, are severe, often lifelong.
Just devastating.
Absolutely. We also see forced marriages. Individuals, often very young girls, pushed into unions against their will. They lose their childhood, their education, their future, really.
Their entire autonomy.
Yes. And finally, there's honor-based violence. This is driven by these rigid ideas of family honor. It can lead to extreme violence killings, acid attacks for perceived shame. Maybe a woman chose her own partner, or refused an arranged marriage, or even reported an assault.
It highlights that extreme control over women's lives and choices.
It really does. And this brings up a crucial concept the book stresses: intersectionality.
Okay, tell us about that.
It's about how gender isn't the only factor. It intersects with age, ethnicity, social class, religion, disability. These other identities can make certain individuals even more vulnerable.
So it's not just being a woman, it's being, say, a young woman from a marginalized ethnic group or a woman with a disability.
Exactly. It creates unique layers of risk or different barriers to getting help. It really complicates the picture and asks us, how do these other identities shape someone's experience of violence?
That's a really important layer. And it leads us right into the cultural roots, doesn't it? The book argues traditional societies themselves can perpetuate GBV. Now, tradition can be a source of identity, strength.
Of course.
But Rukumbuzi seems to argue it can also be a major barrier to safety. How does the book handle that tension? What role do these cultural values and norms play?
That's really a central thread in the book. While traditional societies have rich heritage, they often operate on very rigid gender norms. Norms that tend to reinforce male dominance and, well, female subordination. This creates these deep power imbalances.
Which become fertile ground for GBV.
Precisely. And at the core of this, the book argues, is patriarchy. It defines it as a social system that values masculinity above all, assigns power and privilege mostly to men, and marginalizes women.
And the really insidious part.
The insidious part is how this system can normalize violence against women and girls. It can make it seem acceptable, part of the culture.
So practices like FGMC, child marriage.
Yeah, or even things like widow inheritance in some places. They're often driven by these ingrained patriarchal beliefs, this idea of male control over women's bodies, their lives.
It's one thing to talk about these systems in the abstract, but the book uses personal stories, narratives to make it real. That feels crucial.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
They're the heart of the book, I think. They give a human face to the statistics.
Can you share one or two that really stand out that illustrate these challenges?
Definitely. There's Amina's story from Rwanda. It's a powerful account of surviving sexual violence. She was raped and initially, felt that intense isolation, shame, guilt, which is so tragically common.
Yeah.
But then she connected with a survivor support organization. And her journey, it wasn't easy, but with support, counseling, she found resilience. She bravely pursued justice through the legal system.
Wow.
And her courage didn't just help her heal. It actually sparked change in her community, challenged those beliefs that, frankly, perpetuated rape culture there. It even led to legal reforms, focusing more on survivors. It shows how one person's fight can ripple out.
Incredible resilience. What's another example?
Another really striking one is Amira's story from the Sibi region in Uganda. This focuses on FGMC. She was just 10 years old.
10.
Yeah. Endured immense physical pain, emotional trauma, felt violated, robbed of her autonomy. But despite that, Amira wouldn't be silenced. She found strength by forming a support group with other survivors. They realized they weren't alone.
That collective strength.
Exactly. She became this tireless advocate against FGM, educating her community, challenging those deeply embedded beliefs generation after generation. And over time, her work really started shifting attitudes, helping her community embrace protecting girls' rights and dignity.
It takes such bravery to challenge something so ingrained.
It really does. And then there's another angle the book explores through Jean's story from Kigali, Rwanda. This looks at toxic masculinity.
The other side of the coin, in a way.
Sort of. Those narrow, harmful ideas about what it means to be a man. Dominance, aggression, bottling up emotions. Jean grew up internalizing all that. He felt trapped, like something was wrong. His journey was about introspection, questioning those toxic behaviors he'd learned. He actually sought out communities, women's rights groups, listened to their perspectives.
That takes courage, too.
Absolutely. And he became an agent of change himself, working with young people, facilitating workshops on gender equality, healthy relationships, trying to redefine masculinity for others.
These stories are just so powerful. They take these big systemic issues and make them intensely personal. You feel the lived experience.
Yeah, exactly. And zooming out, what these narratives do is show how individuals grapple with these pervasive cultural norms, how they resist, challenge, and ultimately start to shift things.
They show change is possible, even against huge obstacles.
Right. They offer hope. They show that traditions can evolve, that human resilience, especially collective effort, can create real movement towards justice.
And that sense of hope leads directly into the next part of the book, doesn't it? It's not just about exposing the problem. It's called Fight Back for a reason. It offers pathways forward, strategies.
Yes, absolutely. It lays out a multi-pronged approach, not just one magic bullet, but tackling it from many angles at once.
Okay, so what are some of those key solutions explored?
A huge focus is on healing and support for survivors. This isn't just immediate crisis care, though that's vital. It's holistic. Medical help, yes, but also long-term counseling, therapy, social support networks, helping people rebuild their lives, their sense of self.
That long-term journey.
Crucial. The book shares Immaculate's story, again from Rwanda. A survivor of domestic violence, her story tracks her escape, finding safety in a shelter. But then, through sustained support counseling, legal aid, she turned her experience into advocacy.
Amazing.
She raised awareness, even influenced legal reforms. It really underscores how vital survivor-centered care is. And things like access to justice, safe shelters, economic empowerment programs, they're not just add-ons, they're essential for recovery and independence.
Supporting survivors is clearly fundamental, but like you said, it's multi-pronged. It can't just be about dealing with the aftermath, right? You have to change the culture that allows it.
Exactly. Yeah. The book puts a lot of emphasis on challenging norms and engaging men and boys.
Like Jean's story touched on.
Precisely. Promoting positive masculinity.
Yeah.
Actively bringing men and boys into the conversation as allies for gender equality. Challenging those harmful stereotypes through education, mentorship. It's about creating a culture where respect and empathy win out over dominance. Men have a huge role to play in dismantling patriarchy.
That feels key. What else?
Well, there's the formal stuff. Legal frameworks and policy interventions, international laws, national laws, criminal codes, specific domestic violence laws, laws against FGMC. These are essential tools.
But laws on paper aren't always enough, are they?
No, and Rukumbuzi stresses that.
Yeah.
They need effective implementation. Survivors need real access to justice. There has to be accountability. Otherwise, the laws are just symbolic.
Got it.
Then there's the power of the community. Community mobilization and grassroots initiatives. Engaging communities directly, respectfully. Supporting local organizations, activists, faith groups, youth groups often play a huge role here, driving change from the ground up.
So it's top-down legal frameworks and bottom-up community action working together.
Ideally, yes. And central to all of this is empowering women and girls. The book strongly links education, especially quality secondary and higher education, with gender equality.
Breaking those cycles of poverty and violence.
Exactly. Economic empowerment, addressing the burden of unpaid care work, ensuring digital inclusion. These all give women and girls more agency, more choices, more ability to escape vulnerable situations.
Makes sense.
And finally, the role of media and advocacy. The power of storytelling, like the narratives we discussed, using digital platforms, social media, to break the silence, raise awareness, push for policy changes, but ethically, responsibly, always centering survivor safety and dignity.
That's a really comprehensive set of strategies that covers so many bases.
It has to, really. It's a complex problem, needs a complex solution.
So as we bring this deep dive towards a close, it's clear the challenges are enormous, but the book also highlights incredible resilience, real hope, and these concrete paths forward. What's the big takeaway? The ultimate message for listeners?
I think the core message is that ending GBV demands a collective effort. It's a multifaceted problem, needing a multifaceted response. It's not just on governments or NGOs.
It's on everyone.
It's on every single one of us within society, wherever you are, whatever you do.
Yeah.
The book really drives home that change is possible. Traditional societies can evolve. Harmful practices can be left behind. Dignity and safety can become the norm. It's a powerful call to action, really.
So connecting that to you, the listener, it's about seeing your own role in this. Maybe it feels small, but every action, every conversation where you challenge a stereotype, it adds up. It contributes to that larger shift. This has been such an important exploration today. Blaise Rukumbuzi's book, Fight Back, it just offers such a deep, necessary look at gender-based violence in this context. The stories, the analysis, the solutions, it really brings it all to life.
It really does. It's not just an academic text. It feels like a beacon of hope and a practical guide. It reminds us the fight is long, yes, but it's winnable.
Yeah.
And it has to be won. It's a testament to the human spirit, really, that capacity to endure and overcome and transform.
We truly hope this conversation has given you a richer understanding, maybe more empathy, and perhaps some inspiration to get involved in whatever way feels right for you. And if you want to explore these insights much further, and honestly, we highly recommend it, please do get yourself a copy of Fight Back, Unraveling Gender-Based Violence in East African Traditional Societies by Blaise Rukumbuzi.
It's worth the read.
Definitely. We've put a link right there in the description of this deep dive. Easy for you to find. Click through, grab the book, continue the learning, and maybe leave you with this thought to mull over. What if every single one of us listening made a conscious choice to challenge just one harmful gender stereotype, one biased assumption, one sexist joke, one unequal practice we see in our own lives, our own communities? What kind of ripple effect could that collective action create for a future finally free from this violence? Something to think about.